July 3rd, and I'm here for my kind of July crafting update. So if you're returning to my channel, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. This is my channel where I ramble endlessly about any kind of crafting project that I am interested in at the moment, such as knitting, cross stitch, crochet, quilting. Maybe I might start doing some more perler bead stuff soon too, so that might make a comeback in my crafting world. And yeah, that's about it. I hope everyone had a great June and is having a great start to their July. I don't have much to say in terms of a life update at all. I'm off of work, so I am enjoying summer break now and just relaxing, chilling, hanging out with my mom and my fiance, and just having a relaxing summer and really trying to catch up on all of my crafting things and trying to binge watch just random TV shows. My last update was really heavy in like the knitting category and not so much cross stitching, and this video will actually be all cross stitching. So if you are here primarily for cross stitching, welcome. I am going to show a lot of my cross stitching projects and progress today, so that's something to look forward to. First project up that I'd like to share with everybody is, and I don't know why this isn't done. I saw this come up in my plan. I keep like a notebook for plans on what I want to include in my videos, and when this one was there, I was like, how is this still not done? So hopefully I'm gonna put it on my rotation now that I'm seeing it for this video. This is my Hedgehog Biscornu by Tiny Modernist, and I'm just stitching this on a piece of 14 count Ida that I got, I think it was like a freebie or something from one of the retreat bags that I went to. Bags from a retreat that I went to, rather. I always lose my words when I start these videos. But here's where I'm at. So I did finish the top part of the Biscornu here, and I finished all the back stitching. The hedgehogs look really, really cute and great. And I've just started on the bottom part of the Biscornu over here with the cactus. So I really think I am going to put this in my rotation book, try to get a few more hours on it, and really see if I can get it finished, because this is really, really close to being finished. Or I am going to stitch NJ in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and I might bring this along with me to make sure it gets some decent time on it to be done. So that's my little Hedgehog Biscornu. And after that, this one, I always struggle to find a picture to share with you guys of what it'll look like when it's finished. So this is just one of my BAPs, and I'm kind of losing steam on it, and I recently had a major counting error in it, and I'm really hoping it won't affect the rest of the project. But there's a small part of me that also wants to abandon this project, and I hope I'll just push through. So this is my Mario 3 map, and this is on 32 count. I think it's just an even weave. It's one of those pre-gridded ones, and I'm doing it 2 for 1 10 stitch. I won't tell you guys where the mistake is, but I can see it right away, and I just don't know how I feel about it. Like it will, if I'm not smart about it, it will mess up my counting as I go, and I just have to be mindful that I made that mistake and don't get too flipped out, and try to figure out a space where I can correct it that won't interfere with everything else that's supposed to line up. So everything is lining up right now, but it's not really deleted a row. It's hard to explain what happened, but it would have taken me hours of frogging to go back, and I really hate frogging small stitching like this. So I just went with it, and now it's too far gone to even think about frogging, so we will see what happens as I go. I'm hoping for the best. I do love projects like this and maps, but I think it's the count of this fabric, and maybe that I did it with 2 strands instead of 1. There's just something, I'm just not feeling it anymore. So I'm gonna keep it on my back wheel and see what happens the next time it comes up, because it's not that close to being finished. I think it's supposed to be, I don't think it'll be the full length of this, but I think it comes out to like maybe here-ish, and then there is a little bit on the bottom. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about this piece. It is always a chore when it comes out on my back wheel, but we will see. So that was my Mario 3 map. Oh, and I think that's by Box Cat Stitch on Etsy. I'm not quite sure if she has a store anymore, but that was her shop. Next is my seasonal cottage. So for the past few years, I've been trying to work on a cottage based on the season that we're currently in. And I've been working on them for quite a while, and a lot of them are very close to being finished. So this might be another piece that I bring with me to Stitch NJ to try to get a finish on. So since last season, before filming this, was the spring cottage. Here's what it'll look like when it's done. Oh, and these are from a book that I got from Hirschner's, and the patterns are by Alma Lynn Hayden. And that's the spring cottage. And I'm stitching it, I think 3/1 on 14 count Ida that I hand dyed myself. And yeah, this one is super close too. Well, not super duper close, but it's close enough. So I don't know, I may bring it, I might just bring the summer one with me, honestly, because that's the season that I'll be in if I'm staying with my own silly made rules or whatever. I don't know why I make rules about my crafting, but I do. It's probably part of like my ADHD brain just needing some kind of organization. But yeah, I mean, I really love these pieces. They are fun when I'm stitching them. They're basically full coverage for the most part, but I really like full coverage. And that's all I can say about that. And for my cottages, I've been keeping them in my Sheba Designs like project portfolio. I don't know what to call this. So I keep the current season in here, so I have to switch this one out for my summer one, and I keep all the other seasons on this side. And this little side, as you can see, I've been using as like a little thread bed, but I shouldn't. But now that I'm here, let me just show you guys my summer one. I'll actually switch out my spring one out of that pocket and put my summer one in, but this is where I am on my summer one. I haven't stitched on it yet. It's on my plan. Let me show you what it'll look like when it's done. This one's actually maybe the closest out of all of them. Wow, so, well, it figures because I tend to work on this one when I'm off from work, and so it gets a lot of love. Oh, it's the one on the cover. And I've changed the flag to a Puerto Rican flag to represent my heritage. And here I am. So I think I will just end up putting a bead or a button for the star for the Puerto Rican flag. But yep, I think, yep, I'm still doing some of the back stitching just in this box, and then I'll be able to move over to this side. So yeah, this one actually might come to Jersey because it's almost done. That would be really great. So I do have to make a pile of Jersey stuff apparently now that I'm going to take. And I do want to have a new start in Jersey, but I have so many WIPs, and so that's really, really hard. But anyway, isn't this like Project Folio by Sheba Designs just lovely? Oh, I just love cats. I love it. It is beautiful and it's very well made. My third project is actually going to be a gift, a very delayed gift, to one of my boyfriend's friends, fiance friends. I have a hard time saying fiance, it just sounds so fancy. And I'm working on another one of those Pokemon TCG cards for him, and this is Machamp. And this is by Birdie Stitching. Sometimes I've made my own, and sometimes I'm still using Birdie Stitching. It's just a great resource. Why pattern it myself when it's been already done? This one is going back on my rotation because I did, you know, remember that I wanted to gift this away. So I'm doing this on one of those pre-stretched frame things from Michaels. I think I have some of them that I had bought at Hobby Lobby, but Michaels has them too. And I finished all the green. I do like doing color completion on these projects. And now I'm doing the blue. Something that I realized about a lot of these birdie stitching patterns, and I don't know if it's in me to correct them later, or, I mean, it does end up working out in the end because it really doesn't look anything like that. I don't know where the green came from, but it ends up working out when I'm all done. I've had this happen to me on these projects like 100 times, and it ends up being just fine. So, I don't know. It'll be okay. So that was my Mottramp stitch. Oh, and that is just 2/1, just with some regular old DMCs. And last but not least, so this will be a shorter video. I feel like I just didn't ramble as much, which is good for me. I am finally trying to finish. This is definitely coming to New Jersey without a doubt. Hopefully I won't get burnt out on it, and hopefully the frog won't come. When I did bring this piece to Stitch North, I had a lot of frogging to do because I had started in the wrong column. And so I spent like an hour or two frogging, and then I didn't really get as much done as I wanted to. But I am hoping that this year I will finish my Epic Pokemon cross stitch by Lord Libidin, which is featuring the original sprites from the red, blue, and green Game Boy game. So this one is very different than the other Gen 1 Pokemon stitch that is using the sprites from Ruby, no, not Ruby Red, what is that? Fire Red and Leaf Green. So these are the original ones. And I am stitching this on some horrible 25 count even weave from Michaels that I will never do it on again. And this project is just so old that I even use tape along the edges, which I have learned my lesson because it left a big stain on the side. And this is 2/110 stitch. I'm almost there. It is just majestic and beautiful, and I love it. So I'll try to scroll you guys on up a little bit. Hopefully it's showing. And I'm going slow enough, and it's in the frame. Please be in the frame. So I am so close. And since I am so close, I've been dedicating every Friday evening at least, because I was working for a while, so I can only stitch in the evening. But still we'll keep on Friday evenings working exclusively on this. So I'm gonna try to show this project maybe every other video, depending on how much progress I get. I was very behind in stitching the white, so I used to be over here stitching the white while I was still stitching the color here, because the white was just burning me out that I abandoned it for a while, which was a bad idea because then I fell behind. But I've caught up on the white, so the white is not too far behind all the fun stuff. And I do work this project one column at a time because it's just so easy to miscount with all the outlines of the Pokemon that when I was first doing it, I kind of was jumping around all crazy, and it was like a recipe for frogging and for a disaster. So it's just one column at a time that I try to work on, and also catching up on some of the white. So I'm really excited. My Caterpie is just so cute. Pidgey's coming in. I'm loving all these little starters basically down here that you see early in the game rather than these big guys that you see a lot later. So I'm really loving the bottom row. Oh boy, I am really close. I'm burning out, but I'm sticking with it. I want to start Gen 2 so bad, but I told myself I would not start Gen 2 until this was done, and I have to hold myself to that because then this will never see a finish. And I don't know if I'm going to frame them. I'm thinking of making them like a wall hanging, so kind of quilting the back of it with some fabric and some polyfill or interfacing, something in the middle, I forget, quilt batting, and then just finding a pretty way to hang it so that I could display different gens and not have to worry about switching out a frame, and then I could kind of roll it up and store it easier. I think it'd be easier to store than keeping it in a frame. Anywho, when it is done, I actually do hope to enter it in maybe the New York State Fair, so I'm not quite sure. I am really excited. Oh boy, guys, send me all the good vibes this summer that I make a lot of progress on this before I go back to work. I guess that's like part of life update is there were some staffing changes at my school this year. So if you don't know, I am a special education kindergarten teacher, which means I get to work in a classroom with another kindergarten teacher and we co-collaborate. And that means we get to have a class of very diverse learners, some children with special needs, some children typically developing. I really hate that term. And we would team teach together basically to meet the needs of all the learners. Well, unfortunately, in the group of children incoming into kindergarten this year, there are not many children needing special accommodations, and so they don't need 2 classes worth. I was the second class with my co-teacher, and so we've let our colleagues kind of stay together in their class and do the integrated teaching together, and me and my co-teacher are splitting up and having our own classrooms and teaching solo for the first time in 8 years or so. And so that feels really weird. We really feel like we were in an educational kind of marriage together. And when we were packing up, it truly felt like we were breaking up. So next year might be a lot more stressful for me because it'll just be me and 24 kindergarten children instead of 24 kindergarten children and me and my co-teacher. So I really don't know how I'm gonna do it. I just have such a hard time sometimes connecting with families and just making sure to put boundaries in place for myself and not be so stressed out. But we will see. So hopefully this does get a lot of progress, and hopefully crafting will help pull me through next year, because it's gonna be crazy, y'all. I can't downplay it. It's gonna be a wild ride. 24 kindergarten children versus me. Like, I don't know who thought that that's like an okay ratio, because it's so interesting. In New York State, pre-K is up to 18 children in a class, and they're federally mandated 2 adults in the room. And then all of a sudden, 2 months pass and they can go to kindergarten and be 24 with 1 adult in the room, and that's just really crazy. But we'll see how it goes. I do know my co-teacher is wanting to retire soon, and so this was going to happen eventually, I guess I could say. She's 70 or 7, no, she'll be 71 next year. I forget. She deserves to retire. I mean, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anywho, hoping for a epic Pokemon finish. That is definitely coming me to Jersey. That's on the Jersey list for sure, along with my Spring Cottage and my Biscornu, I think I said I wanted to bring. So those will be coming. I finally did manage to gather a few books for a little bit of book talk at the end right now. And what do you know? This is a surprise to anyone. It probably isn't. I finished another Warriors book. So this, if you don't know, is my absolute favorite series for the past few years. I will even say it has surpassed my love for Harry Potter. This is my jam. I'm obsessed. I love it. And so this is one of the side tales to one of the cats, Crooked Star, who is the clan leader. If you read the first series, he's the clan leader of River Clan. And so this was his kind of, I don't want to say origin story, character story, coming of age story. I don't know. It just focuses on him. I cried. It's amazing. I'm going to be starting another one very soon. I'm trying to debate if I want to start the next series. So I did finish Omen of the Stars. No, I'm way past Omen of the Stars. I can't remember, but there's one, Vision of Shadows maybe is next, and so I've been reading these super editions for quite a bit, and I'm wondering if I'm going to jump back into another regular series that goes back to the, here I go playing with the timeline, the current timeline that the Warrior Cats are all in. But I do have a lot of these super edition character stories to still read through. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do, but I haven't decided yet. Anywho, if you're not a Warriors fan, please get into it so I can have someone to talk with. I have also planned so many cross-stitch projects around Warriors. Unfortunately, I lost my patterns on my old laptop, but I am planning on remaking them, and I'm also planning on buying a device that'll let me plug in my hard drive so that I can recover some of the data that was lost on there. But yeah, they're amazing. It's a group of authors. She also writes the Braveland series, which I have been reading as well, but haven't been keeping up with, and a lot of others. Anywho, then I also finally read through this very, very sweet book, and I am going to get the other ones. I read through The Heartwood Hotel by Callie George, and this book we used in my classroom to help facilitate some of the Playworld work that I've been involved in research for over a decade now, worth of research. I haven't been there with the researcher for a decade. It's just been 7 or 8 years, so I missed like 2 years or whatever. But we used this book with our children this year for our Playworld work, and it was just amazing. I got to dress up as a mouse. If I'm feeling brave, I might insert a picture over here of me dressed up as one of the mouse from the story. And Playworld is just this really amazing thing that we do with our children. They exist in California, in Japan, they come from Sweden. So they exist in Sweden and also in Finland and in many other parts of the world. And a lot of the ideas behind using Playworlds, people are also using them for children in crisis and in war zones. So like in Ukraine, and now we do have one of the researchers is going into Palestine, and it's just amazing. It's just a way for children and adults to enter into an imaginary space together with a story that guides us, and we play dress up, we solve problems together. And it's just really amazing, and each story has a, quote, portal to it. So the portal naturally came in this book as Mona, from the very beginning, gets swept away in a river storm away from her family, and she finds this tree with a heart on it called the Heartwood Hotel, and she pushes her hand on it and goes inside. And isn't that just like a really cool natural portal? So sort of like Chronicles of Narnia, when you think of things like Playworlds and stuff like that. I'm always happy to talk more about Playworlds to any teachers or educators or anyone interested in general. It was one of the reasons why I went to Finland in Helsinki this year, was to go on a conference that was dedicated to, not fully dedicated to play, but a lot of it was focused around children and play and their rights as children to play. And yeah, that was, I lost my train of thought on that, but yeah, I collaborated with educators over there too around these sorts of ideas. Anywho, I still managed to ramble for almost a half hour. So if you are still here, thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoy the rest of your July. I'm hoping to be back before the end of July with another update, but in case I won't be, happy stitching. Stay cool if it is really hot where you are, and stay safe and enjoy the month and whatever.